Hi everyone, and welcome to the Book Refuge. And today we are doing an unhaul. These are always long overdue for me because I buy, and sometimes I just let my books sit and don't get to them. And if they don't get chosen to get read, or I lose interest or forget what they're about, and then if I see the book on the shelf and I just have no desire to pick it up anymore, I donate them. I donate all my books to, there's 3 charity shops that I bring them to. I don't do any credit at any of these because they are charity shops, so they are, all the proceeds go to benefit different places in my area, specifically the Boys and Girls Club of North Dakota. I bring a lot of my books there. So a lot of these, I'm not gonna have a ton of like salty things to say just because I haven't picked them up or I have doubles of certain things, but some of them I do. And otherwise I'm just gonna go ahead and like show you everything because people love unhauls, but I don't have a ton of sassy things to say, but I'll maybe start with the ones that I do. So a couple of my like new DNFs, and I don't keep my DNFs, I'm getting rid of Uprooted. I just talked about this in my January part 1 wrap up. I wasn't into the romance that was happening. I'm not really into the main character either. She's too weak for me, a pushover, and I know there's room for all types of people, but I don't want to read about her. She didn't inspire me. I didn't really like the story. Also, a DNF was What I Did for the Duke by Julianne Long. I'm not a fan of this hero, and the heroine isn't interesting enough for me. She's pining after someone else. She is a little, I don't know. She has a backbone, but also she gets seduced into some situations where I'm like, I don't even get why you like this guy. I don't know what's going on. So I'm getting rid of that one. I am also another historical romance. This one, I just ended up with 2 of these. This is a Westcott novella. I bought one of these at Barnes & Noble and I forgot that I pre-ordered it and it was too late to like send it back. So there's nothing wrong with this book. I just have 2 of them. Then I have a stack of historical romances here that I was really into when I first started my channel, which is when I like bought all of these. And I read about half of them, but then I just kind of fell out of wanting to read this series. It's a series by a few different authors that's called Lost or Time Passages. And there's still one of them that I really love, but the rest of them I don't really care about. These all involve a woman falling back in time. Usually when she has like died in this time, they take over the body of someone who's about to die in a different time, or a body of a relative or something like that. And some of them were really good, but they just got a little too cheesy for me. So I'm getting rid of Distant Dreams by Jenny Lincoln, Lost Yesterday by Jenny Lincoln, Remember Love by Susan Plunkett, A Time to Dream by Sherry Lewis, River of Dreams by Jenny Lincoln, and A Matter of Time by Terry Brisbane. Some of those I read, some of them I didn't. Next here I have the original screenplay of both Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and The Crimes of Grindelwald. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them I really liked, and I really like how these books look, but I just don't have any interest in reading these because they're exactly like the movie, and I just don't enjoy reading scripts that much. And The Crimes of Grindelwald I really, really hated, so I don't care to have these. So this one's kind of sad because they're really beautiful, but I just don't care to have them anymore. Then I have Red Hill by Jamie McGuire. I really did like this book, but I read it about 6 years ago, and when I tried to do a reread, I just didn't really care for it. This is a horror novel that I did not expect to be a horror novel, and it's actually about zombies. It was really good. I don't have anything bad to say. I'm just not going to reread it, and so I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to someone else, and I hope it'll be a good find for someone else. Then I'm getting rid of this arc that I got sent by a publisher. It's called Jake's Redemption by Jamie Schultz. This was a self-published series. This series, this is actually the prequel to the Angel Eyes series, and this is about a case where it's like a reverse Handmaid's Tale, kind of, but men are all like subjugated, and there's no, like, marriage is outlawed. And men are only used to like make whatever. It's the total thing. I just didn't really like the setup. I mean, nobody loves the setup of those situations, but the males are like slaves and they're beaten, and it's not my like kink to see the reverse version of something that I think is already awful. Like, I think The Handmaid's Tale is awful, and I don't need to read the reverse option of it, but I really appreciated when the publisher sent it to me because it was one of the first times I was reached out to, so I kind of took it just out of like wanting, and now I'm just a lot more, I mean, not that I get sent tons of stuff, I'm not trying to sound like that. It's just when I get solicited either for like e-arcs or for sending me a book, I really try to pick ones that I really want. I think a lot of people on Booktube, we go through that. Like, you're really excited the first ones that you get offered, but I just have no interest in like reading that book, and so I'm just going to move along. Oh, I have another Harry Potter. I have 3 other copies of the Sorcerer's Stone. This was fun when I thought I could have all of them like in a mass market, because these are the ones that I was borrowing to my friend who was reading it, because he likes to read his book and set it like that, which just bothers me. So that's why I borrowed him the more messy version of it. But I'm just going to go ahead and pass this on. I found this one at a charity shop, so I like passing those ones on that they could be a find for someone else. Then I have a double of this one. I have the Barnes & Noble editions of all these books. I'm planning to read it very soon. It's just I don't need to have a second copy when I have it's right over here actually. I have the beautiful Barnes & Noble editions for all 3 of these books. And so I'm just gonna pass this one on to someone else. Then Fall of the Kingdom by Hilary Bell. Don't know what it's about, don't care to read it. Christine Feehan, Judgment Road. I used to read so much Christine Feehan. I actually read, up to a certain point, I had read all of her Sea Haven novels. I had read a lot of the Element books. I read her Carpathian series up to like book 20, and then I stopped. And so I wanted to try this series, but I'm not super into motorcycle to MC romances, and I just don't want to get sucked in another one of her series that could be 40 books long. So I'm just going to move along from that one. Then I have the first part of The Eye of the World from the Two Towers, which this is like when they tried to do it as children's books. I ended up with 2 copies of the first one on accident. And so I'm just going to pass this back along. I found this at a charity shop, and it was like the funnest thing to find. But since I'm a little less enamored with Wheel of Time than I was 6 months ago, I'm just going to pass this one along, and hopefully someone else will think it's as cool as I did that there was a children's version of Wheel of Time, which is funny. These are a couple of books I've had a really long time, and it's sad to move on from them, but I have better copies of some of them, and so some of these are, you'll see the cheesy versions. Like, I have Beastly, the movie adaptation cover, which let's all forget that movie was ever made. Why don't we? Let's just forget. By Alex Flynn, and I have the like original cover that just has the flower on the front. I hate that they like did tattoos on him and tried to be like cool or whatever. Like, jeez, it was so stupid. Through the Ice by Pierce Anthony and Robert Cornwise. This is a really like kind of tragic story, and not the book itself, but this book was started by this kid basically, and then he died before he finished it, and so his friends petitioned the author to finish the story for him. And I really liked it when I was a kid, but I tried to read it and I just couldn't come back to it. And the series never continued, obviously, because Pierce Anthony, you know, didn't continue the story after this kid had passed, because he didn't want to, you know, make decisions that he wouldn't have made. So it's really cool, and I love this when I was young. I really suggest you check it out. Through the Ice is what it's called, because it was kind of fun. It was this kid's living in like the normal world, and does he fall through a puddle? I think he literally falls through the ice and ends up, well, that's what it's called, duh. He falls through the ice and ends up in a magical world, and so it's kind of like an alternative universe story. And it was really good, just not for me. Then I'm getting rid of these covers of, this one is Margaret Peterson Haddock's Just Ella, which I just reread and really loved, but I hate this cover. And then Ever by Gail Carson Levine, and this is kind of a companion novel to Ella Enchanted, and again, I have a better cover for this one. There's one that I've read and I'm getting rid of, and that is Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thomas. I really love this book. This is a book that I recommend quite often. However, it's a standalone, and it's about this girl who she was like 23rd in line to the throne, and everyone in front of her gets poisoned at the king's birthday party, except for her, who left early to go do some of her experiments. And so she is the queen now, but there's also a lot of speculation that she's the one that maybe killed all these people, so she needs to find the person. And the king's bastard son, who was never in line for the throne, he is helping her, but maybe he's the one who killed everyone, and we just don't know. And I really enjoyed it. I just don't think I'll read it again because it's very unique, but it isn't something, like, I'm not going to read this again, and there's no sequel, there's nothing else coming, so I don't feel any nostalgia or reason to keep it. But I do suggest this book. I thought it was a wonderful read. It was very clever, and I wish Rhiannon Thomas would write more because I really enjoyed what she did here, and I wish this had been a trilogy or more, so we got to see this queen actually trying to rule, because she had never had any plans to, and nor did she really want to, and she's just thrust into it. So I wish that more had happened. All right, now I have a huge stack of books that I just have lost the desire to read them. They're either books that lost my polls in previous months, or I just don't care to read them. So we're gonna go through these ones pretty quickly because I don't have anything to say about them. Nocturna by Maya Montaigne. Imposters by Scott Westerfield. Trickster's Choice by Tamara Pierce. Once a King by Erin Summerfield. Ship of Smoke and Steel by Django Wexler. Zenith and Nexus, which these are actually signed copies too, so someone's gonna have a fun when they get it, but I just heard too much trash about these to read them. I just don't think I could divorce myself from it, and that would be sad. Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. Catching Stars by Kayla Keenan. The Beckoning Shadow, Catherine Blair. Lover Avenged by J.R. Ward. I actually thought I got rid of all my Black Dagger Brotherhood, and then I found that I had this one tucked somewhere, so. Ashante by Gita Trelease. Tremor by Winston Graham. Unnatural Disasters by Jeff Hurst. Holy Moses. Stab myself in the eye. And Stain by A.G. Howard. So that is all the books that I'm planning to unhaul. Let me know if I'm making a horrible mistake or if you agree with any of them. It doesn't matter. They'll be gone by the time you tell me. But that's fun sometimes. So, you know. Thank you so much for watching this unhaul. I put up new videos 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. It just depends. I make as many videos as I want. That's how life goes. Please go ahead and subscribe if you'd like to see more content. And if you want to watch some more videos, check them out. Have a great day. Bye.